the book of John, chapter 10 and verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication, and it was winter. I'm going to stop right there. I want to start off as always by giving all praise, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachah, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the elect out there, whoever you might be. And Shalom, 744,000. It's the brother Amawan Padah from the GMS Denver camp, coming at you with a lesson in regards to the Feast of the Dedication, otherwise known as Hanukkah. All right, which we're currently in right now. We're in the last day of the Feast of the Dedication, which is 8 days. Okay, and just on my spirit to go into it, briefly to let you know what it's really about. All right, you see, because growing up they taught us that it was for these JEWISHs. All right, and they had the little dreidel and they spin the dreidel. They taught us about all that shit when we were when I was younger. All right. But come to find out, growing up and coming into the truth, that it's really our high holy day, man, or a holy day, should I say. All right. For you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. You see, they never taught you this in a Christian church. All right. They never went over the feast of the dedication in the Christian church. They don't even celebrate it. They don't celebrate Hanukkah in the Baptist church. All right, in Christianity, and it's right here in the scriptures. Matter of fact, it goes on to show you that Yahweh Shai, who they ignorantly called Jesus, celebrated Hanukkah, all right, or the Feast of the Dedication. It goes on to say in the next verse, and Yahweh Shai walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. So he was there during the Feast of the Dedication, otherwise known as Hanukkah or Chanukah. All right, in the ancient Hebrew, or Chanak. All right, you see what I'm saying? They don't tell you about this in these fake Christian churches. It's right here in John. It's right here in the regular Bible, man. But you can't really understand what it's about unless you read the Apocrypha, which is a part of the Bible, man. Showing you the Apocrypha is the word of Yahweh Shai is linked in to the scriptures, man. The origin of the Feast of the Dedication is in the Apocrypha. And we'll get that in the book of 1 Maccabees, the 4th chapter. It's also in 2 Maccabees, the 10th chapter as well. But let's go ahead and go to 1 Maccabees, chapter 4. So here we have it right here in the Apocrypha, the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4. All right, verse 1, it says, Then took Georgius 5,000 footmen and 1,000 of the best horsemen, and removed out of the camp by night, to the end he might rush in upon the camp of the Jews, all right, you see, or the Israelites of the southern kingdom, and smite them suddenly. And the men of the fortress were his guides. So this is going into the beef between the Greeks, the ancient Greeks, and the Israelites, showing you that these damn devils are always our enemies, man. Okay, these are Edomites. We could prove that in just a second. All right, because let's go into who this guy is. Georgius. All right, he is an Edomite. All right, employed by Lysias underneath Antiochus Epiphanes the Fourth. So let's go ahead and get into that. Let's prove that real quick. So here we have it right here. Georgius, it says, a general selected by Lysias, region over Syria under Antiochus Epiphanes, and all right, along with Ptolemy and Nicanor to destroy Judah. All right, Judah being the southern kingdom, the Jews. All right, they were set to destroy us, man. They're our enemies. And it goes on to say he was a quote unquote man of experience in military service, a friend of the king, and later a governor of Idumea. Look right there. You see that? Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom. These motherfuckers are Edomites. All right, the so-called white man. Those Greeks, they're Edomites. It's linked right here. This is why they want to take the Apocrypha. It's why they took the Apocrypha out of the Bible. Okay, because it links them to secular history. And it shows you that these damn crackers are really Idumeans, man. They're Edomites, who the Lord hates, as it tells you in Romans 9:13. So yeah, man. The Apocrypha exposes Esau. But let's go back, all right? Let's go back to First Maccabees 4, when these damn devils were trying to destroy us back then. Okay, so now we got a little history on who Gorgias is and the Edomites, all right, known as the Greeks. Now, verse 3, it says, verse 3, it says, now when Judas, all right, it's talking about Judas Maccabees, man, who was an Israelite. Okay. Now when Judas heard thereof, he himself removed, and the valiant men with him, that he might smite the king's army which was at Emmaus, while as yet the forces were dispersed from the camp. Okay. In the mean season came Gorgias by night into the camp of Judas. And that's how these devils like to strike. They like to strike at night, man. All right. And when he found no man there, he sought them in the mountains, for said he, these fellows flee from us. Okay. Because Judas, man, they got the ups on their ass, man. They moved before they can get there. For them crackers showed up. Verse 6, it says, but as soon as it was day, Judas showed himself in the plain with 3,000 men, who nevertheless had neither armor nor swords to their minds. And they saw the camp of the heathen, that it was strong and well harnessed, and compassed round about with horsemen, and these were expert of war. And that goes into today's times. These damn devils, these Edomites, are the same way, man. Their blessing is the sword. Okay? And, you know, they excel in war. You see? So Judas was outmanned and, pretty much outgunned back then. Just like we are today. But let's continue on, because it ends with victory, all right, on the side of the Israelites. Well, goes on to say in verse 8, then said Judas to the men that were with him, fear ye not their multitude, neither be ye afraid of their assault. All right, so Judas was courageous, man. He had that courageous spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, and that's the spirit that we gotta have. We gotta have that Maccabean spirit that they had back then, because we got enemies that are coming in on us now, man. The same people, the same devils, the Edomites. All right, they want to come down on you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians once again, just like they did as the ancient Greeks and as the Romans. All right, they're the same fucking people. But Judas was telling his men, hey, man, don't be afraid of these devils. Okay, just like we're not going to be afraid of them when they try to rush in on us in these last days. Okay, because it tells you about that in Revelation 12 and verse 12. But let's continue on. Verse 9, it says, remember how our fathers were delivered in the Red Sea, when Pharaoh pursued them with an army. So he was bringing up the remembrance of our forefathers, man. You see, because the Lord delivered us out of the hand of our enemy that was too strong for us back then. You see, and Judas Maccabees was, bringing these accounts into the remembrance of his men to fortify them spiritually. We got to do the same thing in these last days. It tells you in Romans 15 and 4 that things are written aforetime for our learning, so we can learn and understand that the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is on the side of his elect, man. He's with the nation of Israel. There's a power in the heavens that fights for us, man. And Judas was reminding his men about that. Okay, now verse 10, it says, now therefore let us cry unto heaven, if peradventure the Lord will have mercy upon us, and remember the covenant of our fathers, and destroy this host before our face this day. So Judas knew who was controlling the victory in these battles, man. Yahweh Shema Shai. Verse 11, that so all the heathen may know that there is one who delivereth and saveth Israel. There you go, right there. All right. Deuteronomy 20 and 4 comes to mind. Okay. Verse 12. Then the strangers lifted up their eyes and saw them coming over against them. Wherefore they went out of the camp to battle, but they that were with Judas sounded their trumpets. So they joined battle, and the heathen, being discomfited, fled into the plain. All right, so they ran. All right, the Lord put fear in our enemies' hearts, right? Verse 15. Howbeit all the hindmost of them were slain with the sword, for they pursued them unto Gazera, and unto the plains of Idumea, and Azotus and Jamnia, so that there were slain of them upon a 3,000 men. So there you go. Victory wrought by Yahweh Shemel Shai. This done, Judas returned again with his host from pursuing them, and said to the people, be not greedy of the spoil, inasmuch as there is a battle before us. He was telling his men, hey man, don't be celebrating too early, man. We still got more to go. And that's how we are too, man. You know, we ain't in the kingdom yet, man. Though we're celebrating because we got this truth. That's a sign of our victory, all right, coming forth. All right, the Israelites waking up to who they are in these last days, fulfilling prophecy. That's a sign of the kingdom of heaven getting closer, man. The Lord waking up his people, but we got a little ways to go. We got to go through Jacob's trouble. All right. So we're not, popping bottles yet. Verse 18. And Georgius and his hosts are here by us in the mountain. But stand ye now against our enemies and overcome them. And after this, ye may boldly take the spoils. You see? All right. He said, overcome them, man. That's how we going to overcome our enemies, man, through Yahweh Shemel Shai. Though we're outnumbered. We're outnumbered because the elect is a small remnant. The 2/3 of our people, all right, which is the majority of our nation here in America, Babylon the Great, they're not for us, man. They're not for Yahweh Shemel Shai. So they're our enemies as well. All right. Then you got the rebels that are outside of America. All right. They're enemies as well, man. The rebel Israelites that are not of the elect. You see, so the elect is a small number in the earth. But guess what? We're going to overcome our enemies through Yahweh Shemel Shai. Verse 19. As Judas was yet speaking these words, there appeared a part of them looking out of the mountain, who when they perceived that the Jews had put their host to flight and were burning the tents, for the smoke that was seen declared what was done. So when we would take over, enemy camp, then we would burn their tents. All right. So, the other Edomites, they saw that their tents were being burned up. All right. They knew what had went down, that we had overcome their ass. Now, verse 21, it says, when therefore they perceived these things, they were sore afraid, and seeing also the host of Judas in the plain ready to fight. See, we was ready, man. Courageous. We got to have that courageous spirit, man, knowing that the Lord going to step in on our behalf. All right. In these last days, though Esau has his military and these different alphabet agencies and all this shit, guess what? The Lord gonna raise up that standard, man. Isaiah 59 verse 19. Okay, there's other scriptures that talk about spiritual power that the Lord's gonna give his men in these last days. All right, now verse 22 it says, they fled every one into the land of strangers. Then Judas returned to spoil the tents, where they got much gold and silver and blue silk and purple of the sea and great riches. That purple of the sea goes into that expensive dye garments that they had back then. All right, a lot of it came from Tyre. They would take certain, sea animals. What was it? Some kind of a crustacean, if I'm not mistaken. And the dye, all right, they would get it from that sea creature, and it was expensive. So it was like, kind of like, a flex for the Israelites back then. They had that stuff, man. Gold, silver, blue silk also. These are very expensive things, man. All right, verse 24. After this, they went home and sung a song of thanksgiving and praised the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, in heaven, because it is good, because his mercy endureth forever. All right. Thus Israel had a great deliverance that day. Now all the strangers that had escaped came and told Lysias what had happened. All right, it was a damn Edomite. All right, our enemy, Lysias. Okay, verse 27. Who, when he heard thereof, was confounded and discouraged, because neither such things as he would were done unto Israel, nor such things as the king commanded him were come to pass. So Antiochus, pretty much appointed Lysias to take us out, and it didn't happen. We overcame their ass. So they were upset about that, man. They had plans of fucking demolishing us, just like they got plans of demolishing us in these last days. Esau plans on running down on the Israelites in these last days to destroy us. All right, but they're going to be greatly upset when they get taken the fuck down and put into captivity. All right, according to prophecy, that's what's getting ready to happen to their ass. because the Lord's going to step in on our behalf just like he's always done. Verse 28. The next year, therefore, following Lysias, gathered together 70,000 choice men of foot and 5,000 horsemen, that he might subdue them. So they got greater numbers. They said, we got to take these Israelites out. We got to take these Jews out. All right. So they came into Idumea, you see, and pitched their tents at Bethsura, and Judas met them with 10,000 men. And when he saw that mighty army, he prayed and said, Blessed art thou, O Savior of Israel, who didst quell the violence of the mighty man by the hand of thy servant David, and gavest the host of strangers into the hands of Jonathan, the son of Saul, and his armor bearer. So he's going into ancient accounts of when the Lord gave victory unto us, man. You see, Judas was always going into the ancient times, or the times when the Lord stepped in on our behalf. Okay. Verse 31. Shut up this army in the hand of thy people Israel, and let them be confounded in their power and horsemen. Make them to be of no courage, and cause the boldness of their strength to fall away, and let them quake at their destruction. And Esau's scared right now, seeing that we're waking up and prophesying against his ass, man. It tells you about that in Revelation 11 and verse 11. All right, Esau, man, don't get it twisted. They got all the armory and all that stuff. They got all the military weaponry and technology and shit. But at the end of the day, they know who we are, man. They know that we're the Israelites, and we're a force to be reckoned with when Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai is on our side, man. Okay, verse 33. Cast them down with the sword of them that love thee, and let all those that know thy name, you see, praise thee with thanksgiving. And who knows the name of the Lord in these last days? The elect of the nation of Israel. Not only do they know the name of Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai, they hold it in high reverence as well, man. Unlike a lot of these Israelite groups that try to downplay the name of the Lord, man. The name of the Lord is necessary for salvation, as it tells you in Acts 4 and verse 12. Okay, verse 34. So they joined battle, and there were slain of the host of Lysias about 5,000 men. Even before them were they slain. Call Allah Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai. Look at that, man. Now when Lysias saw his army put to flight, and the manliness of Judas's soldiers, all right, they were courageous out there, man, moving in the spirit of the Lord, man. You can't be a real man until you come into the truth of Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai. That's when you become a real man. All right, when I'm talking about you Israelite men out there, okay? And how they were ready either to live or die valiantly, he went into Antiochia and gathered together a company of strangers, and having made his army greater than it was, he purposed to come again unto Judea. So, hey, man, we was upsetting them motherfuckers, man. Okay. Verse 36. Then said Judas and his brethren, Behold, our enemies are discomfited. Let us go up to cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary. So this is where it comes in right here. The feast of the dedication, because we're going to dedicate, or we rededicated the temple, man, because these goddamn Greeks, these heathens, desecrated our temple, man. They defiled it. They sacrificed swine's flesh on our altars. Yeah, these damn devils, man, they have a deep hatred for Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai and the Israelites, knowing that pork is an abominable thing unto us. These motherfuckers went as far as to sacrifice swine's flesh on our altars, man, and try to make us take on the Greek customs. They made it to the point where Antiochus said that it was illegal to be a Jew or to be an Israelite. They made it illegal for us to follow the ways of Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai. Just like they're going to try to do in these last days. They're going to try to make it illegal to be an Israelite, man, to say that you worship Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai. They were putting women and children to death, man. They made it illegal for you to circumcise your children. All right? So, yeah, man, this is what was going on back in that time. These goddamn devils, this is how they feel about us, man. It's all in the history. Okay? The so-called white man, he feels the same way in these last days. But yeah, man, but we upset them through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai. We overcame them. And this is talking about how Judas, all right, Maccabees and the Israelites went back to rededicate the kingdom. I mean, not the kingdom, Salakia, the temple. Okay, the sanctuary. Now, verse 37, it says, upon this, all the hosts assembled themselves together and went up into Mount Zion. And when they saw the sanctuary desolate and the altar profaned, all right, and the gates burned up and shrubs growing in the courts, and shrubs growing in the courts as in a forest or in one of the mountains, and the priest chambers pulled down. So these damn Edomites defiled our sanctuary, man. They vandalized it, did all kind of messed up stuff to our, our sanctuary, man, our temple back in that day. They rent their clothes and made great lamentation and cast ashes upon their heads. That was a custom of ours in the ancient times to, when we were lamenting or in deep sorrow, they would rent their garment. They would like rip their outer garment, you know what I'm saying? Okay. And, they would put ashes upon their head. That was a sign of lamentation and sorrow back then for the Israelites. That's what we would do. And you see that documented in the scriptures, man, the regular Bible, All right. Verse 40, it says, and fell down flat to the ground upon their faces and blew an alarm with the trumpets and cried toward heaven. That's a grievous thing to see our temple desecrated like that, man. All right. By these damn heathens. We were overtaken by the heathen, man. That's a sorrowful time for us. All right. Verse 41. Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress until he had cleansed the sanctuary. So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law. All right, Levites, who cleansed the sanctuary and bare out the defiled stones into an unclean place. So they took the defiled stones, the pieces that the Edomites had defiled, and they took them and disposed of them. They removed them from the temple because they were profaned, man, by the goddamn heathen. Okay. And when, as they consulted what to do with the altar of burnt offerings, which was profaned, because they burned swine's flesh on it, as it tells you in previous chapters. All right, Antiochus, man, they sacrificed pig meat, and man, on the Lord's altar, and they gonna pay for that shit, man. You Edomites got to pay for all this shit that y'all have done. All right, all the way back to the serpent in the garden, all the way back to Cain, right? And your forefather Esau, you got to pay for all the things you've done all the way up until this time. All right, you got hell to pay. Verse 45. They thought it best to pull it down, lest it should be a reproach to them, because the heathen had defiled it. Wherefore they pulled it down. All right, so Judas and his men, they pulled down the defiled articles of, or how should I say this? They pulled down all the defiled stones and different things that were in the temple, all right, that the heathen had profaned. Verse 46, and laid up the stones in the mountain of the temple in a convenient place until there should come a prophet to show what should be done with them. Then they took the whole stones according to the law and built a new altar according to the former. Now, when it's talking about whole stones according to the law, it tells you in the scriptures that, the Lord, he didn't like huge stone to be built in his temple, man. On the altar, it had to be whole stones, not all cut and messed with. Matter of fact, let's find that real quick. All right, the Lord said he wanted whole stones to be made on his altar. Let's see if I can find that in the law real quick. All right, here we have it in the law right here. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 27 and verse 5. And there shalt thou build an altar unto the Lord Yahweh, Bashmi Yahushua, thy power, and an altar of stones. Thou shalt not lift up any iron tool upon them. You see, the Lord desired whole stones. He didn't want nobody to cut them and try to make them all pretty. All right. So that's what that's going back to. It's going back to the law, in case you were wondering what that meant in First Maccabees. All right. You see. So let's go back to First Maccabees, the 4th chapter, and we'll finish it. Okay, so they took the whole stones according to the law and built a new altar according to the former. All right, verse 48, and made up the sanctuary and the things that were within the temple and hallowed the courts. They made also new holy vessels, and into the temple they brought the candlestick and the altar of burnt offerings and of incense and the table. And upon the altar they burned incense And the lamps that were upon the candlestick they lighted, that they might give light in the temple. Right? You see that? Furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table, all right, the showbread, and spread out the veils, and finished all the works which they had begun to make. Now on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called the month of Caslu, all right, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning. Now, the month Caslu, that's, the name for one of, our months that we had, back in the ancient times. According to Esau, we got 12 months, named after fucking Greek gods, January, and these things are named after pagan deities and whatnot. All right, I believe January is goes back to the Greek god Janus, if I'm not mistaken. So showing you, man, these are the same damn people that are ruling right now, man. Okay, but we had our own names for our months back then. Just to, show you what this talking about right there. Verse 53, it says, and offer sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings which they had made. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it, even in that was it dedicated with songs and citherns and harps and cymbals. So the dedication of the temple actually took place on the same day, on the same exact day when they defiled it. Because they defiled the temple, or Antiochus Epiphanes, they defiled the temple on the 25th day of Caslu. Matter of fact, let's prove that real quick. Alright, so here we have, alright, First Maccabees chapter 1. You should read that as well, because it goes into how Antiochus and damn Greeks were killing our people, alright, and making it illegal to be an Israelite and to follow Yahweh Shai Shai. This chapter goes into all of that, man. Alright, but I want to go to the point right here that I was making. Alright, it says, let's see. Let's go to about verse 54. Okay. Now the 15th day of the month of Caslu, see, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side. This is what these fucking crackers did to us, man. Okay. And burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law, they took our scriptures and ripped them up, man. All right. You devils got a lot to pay for, man. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire. And whosoever was found with any of the book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. All right, they're going to do the same thing in these last days. They're going to make it illegal to be an Israelite, a Hebrew Israelite. They're going to try to demonize us and persecute us. The crackers did the same thing back then. They're going to try to do it again in these last days, man. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay. Thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities. All right, check it out. Here it is right here. Now the 25th day, or the 25th of the month Caslu. All right. Now the 25th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of the Most High. Okay. You see that? So that's the same day, all right, in that month that they sacrificed, the abomination of desolation. They sacrificed that abominable pig or swine's flesh upon the altar of Yahweh Shai. Okay. Then it happens to be the same day that we rededicated the temple after we overcame their ass. So let's go back, all right, to First Maccabees chapter 4. Just want to show y'all that real quick. Okay. So, yeah, I read that one more time. Verse 54. All right, First Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 54, it says, look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it, all right, the 25th day of Caslu, all right. And it was, or even in that was it dedicated with songs and citherns and harps and cymbals. Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the power of heaven, who had given them good success. So they knew that it was Yahweh Shai that caused us to overcome our enemies. Okay. The same thing applies to these last days. We're going to overcome through the blood of Yahweh Shai. Verse 56, it says, and so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days and offered burnt offerings with gladness and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold and with shields, and the gates and the chambers they renewed and hanged doors upon them. Thus was there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away. Moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days, from the 5 and 20th day of the month Caslu, with mirth and gladness. So it's feast days, man. 8 days, celebrating the victory over them damn heathens and the rededication of our temple after they defiled it. That's what Hanukkah is about, man. Verse 60. At that time also they builded up the Mount Zion with high walls and strong towers round about, lest the Gentiles should come and tread it down as they had done before. And they set there a garrison to keep it, and fortified Bethsura to preserve it, that the people might have a defense against Idumea. Showing you that those ancient Greeks that did all that shit to us were Idumeans. You see? Edomites, so-called white man. This links Esau to being the Edomites right here in the Apocrypha. All right. So yeah, man. Just wanted to go in on Hanukkah before sundown, because sundown will be the last day. All right. The celebration of the Feast of Dedication will be over at sundown today. All right. So yeah, man. This is the origin story of the High Holy Day, or the Holy Day, Hanukkah. All right. So I'm in this right here. Hopefully this was edifying to, whoever needed to hear it, whoever didn't know about this, now you know. All right. I mean it right there. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of Yahweh. Bashem Yahweh Shai, the Kwame Asherallah, and Abad Babar Shalom.